Oh, we are back. That's right. Fandom United live with Bartley and Barnes, except this time I am with Bartley. Maybe Barnes will show up, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But we are back, episode number 6. We're going to talk a little X-Men 97. Almost feels like a revisiting of our childhood, and you got to be of a certain age to really understand how special and unique this latest Marvel animation from Disney Plus has been. We're also going to talk Alien Romulus, the teaser trailer, and the Acolyte, the upcoming Star Wars show that's set at the tail end of the High Republic. We'll be talking that. And if we have time, we'll talk about that Black Panther and Captain America video game, that amazing trailer. And if we have more time, we'll try and talk about Beetlejuice because, man, it's just, we are feasting. And then, not to mention, Roadhouse released on Amazon Prime Video, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. And so it's just, it is a blockbuster season. What's going on? It's so busy. But Jacob, how you been, man? What's up?
Not bad, man. Just, I'm bummed I missed last week's episode because it was after the Oscars. And not that I had a ton to talk about, but I did want to shout out, which shame on you guys. I said, please shout out American Fiction for me. And I guess you guys didn't.
Keith?
So, um, I did want to shout out American Fiction because I was late to the party on it. I watched it about a week before the Oscars. And that I think it might have been the best movie last year, honestly. Like I liked it more than
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. Air was still my favorite movie last year, the Ben Affleck directed Air. But American Fiction ended up in my top 3 of last year. So I did want to shout out that movie. So if you get a chance to watch it, it is a phenomenal film, highly entertaining. It's not, I know for some casual viewers, like sometimes when you point them towards an Oscar film, sometimes they come back and say, that wasn't for me, that was boring. I think American Fiction is, accessible for everyone. It's very entertaining. It's kind of a dark comedy in a way, meaning it has like some very tragic things happen in it, but kind of makes funny of it all. And I mean, Jeffrey Wright is amazing. Sterling K. Brown is incredible in that movie. He's like, of course I was rooting for Robert Downey Jr. to win Best Supporting Actor because I'm such a big fan. But if Sterling K. Brown would have won that, I would have had no problems with it. Sorry, I didn't get my moment last week with American Fiction, but yeah, just been, chilling, watching a lot of stuff, watched some new movies. With me and Kylie watched a few new films. Obviously, we watched X-Men 97. So I'm excited to talk about that. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Let's get right into it. X-Men 97. You can sort of call it a reboot / continuation of the 90s popular animated series on Fox Kids. When it was announced, I think everybody who grew up in the 90s, just like, I don't know, they started getting warm feelings in their heart because, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who's not a fan or somebody who's a fan of the genre who did not enjoy that series. And it's great, to have the original cast back, the voice cast. They tweaked the opening music, the intro music, which I didn't mind. I actually enjoyed it, and I appreciate that, they updated. It was one of several things that they updated, which we'll get into as we discuss this. but the first two episodes have released, and we both got a chance to see them. And I actually want to give you the floor first, Jacob, because this animated series, this franchise features some of your most favorite Marvel characters out of their entire catalog. And so as a 90s baby, as a huge fan of the lore, you know, what'd you think about these first two episodes, this series? Take me through your thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, I'll just say before I, get into some more context here, just want to say that the first two episodes are incredible. Regardless if you watched it or not, if you're a fan of it or not, just even if you're a new viewer and you just go in and you're open-minded to animation, the medium in animation or the genre in animation, I should say, then it's an incredible storytelling piece. Like it's not just, oh, it's a fun little cartoon, like entertaining. It's actually has deep elements, great action, dare I say. Like the action was incredible. Like even just the hand-to-hand combat and then the display of powers and unique usage of it all. Amazing. But yeah, it's funny because like you hear a lot of people talking about it, and a lot of the podcasters that we listen to are older than us, so they were like teenagers and young adults when the show was out, but we were literally kids when this was out. So
Hmm.
for me, this show was the original series was probably the main reason why I love comic book movies and the comic book movie genre as much as I do today. Like that's not hyperbole. I don't remember. I mean, I watched this and the Spider-Man animated series at the same time, but this was definitely more prominent. Um, my earliest memory is playing with. They used to have like these like tall action figures. I think they were like 1/6 scale size, but like they're cheap. They're like back then they were probably like $5.
Yeah.
But playing with the Wolverine and Cyclops one of those was my earliest memory, honestly. Um, so the animated series itself meant a lot. So them bringing this back is a huge deal, and I was so looking forward to it. But at the same time, I was like, okay, if it's just fun and entertaining, I'm satisfied. But it's more than that.
It's
It
pretty deep.
obviously carries on those. And like when I went and rewatched some of the episodes in my adulthood, like the series was always deep, and we just didn't know it as a kid. So because it always has the theme of you know, people who have the X gene and them being a different species and them being suppressed, like obviously an allegory of
Mutant rights.
many
Yeah.
different human rights issues
Politics.
throughout
Yeah.
history and stuff. So obviously the original animated series has that. This has it as well, and they get right into it, and it was awesome. And I really enjoy like the updated title sequence, like somebody mentioned in the chat, Morph gets a title screen. Star Drew, I believe, says that Morph, yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember Morph from the first season, and I rewatched it recently, and I was like, is he like an original X-Men? Like, is he from the comics? And I guess, or they, I should say, Morph was created for the animated show, kind of like, which is interesting because it's kind of like Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn originated from the Batman animated series. She was not a comic book character prior to that. And Morph was also created as original character for this show. So
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm glad they are kind of incorporating them heavily in this. And by the way, and in case I forget, the way Morph turns into several different mutant characters that we're not necessarily going to see in this show,
Mm-hmm.
but like he turned into the Blob, he turned into what is
Sabretooth?
the one he turned into Sabretooth? What is the one with the swords? The woman with the swords. Played by
Psylocke?
Olivia Munn. Yeah, Psylocke.
Psylocke, yeah.
They turned into Psylocke. So that was pretty cool. But obviously, um, I got to talk about my boy Cyclops.
Yes.
While I love James Marsden and his portrayal, and I just don't think the writers and handled his character particularly well in most of the live action films. Still had some great moments in those movies. His main role in those movies was to just whine about, Jean Grey. But in the animated series and in this updated version, he's the hero, leader, badass that we need him to be. And I I am a little like kind of sucks that Magneto shows up and took over like the leadership role because I loved seeing Scott in that role. But um but I love the way they've handled it so far. And I've never seen this before. It's probably happened in the comics or it might have happened in the original animated series. But when they're falling out of the ship when it gets shot down and everyone's freaking out, but all the characters who can fly save the other ones. And then Cyclops is like, all right, everybody's good. I'll see you guys on the ground. And he's like, not even worried at all. And I'm like, oh, I know what he's about to do. And he uses his eye blasters to like slow down his fall. That was amazing. And I texted our buddy Demont earlier, and we were talking about it because he loves the X-Men animated series as well. Like,
Nice.
huge fan. And I was like, I want to see that in live action. Him
Mhm.
falling and then using his eyes.
If we don't see that in live action, yeah.
I want to see that in live action. Yeah.
That's interesting. Demont is a fan.
Mm.
You should try and get him on
He
sometime.
probably loves it more than I do, honestly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, let me chime in here a little bit. So it's interesting because Hollywood often gets criticized for recycling franchises and ideas and whatnot. And, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't tarnish what was once great. And we're definitely seeing that now, a huge nostalgia play on popular franchises, classics, whether it's Ghostbusters. We just saw the trailer for Beetlejuice. And now here we are with a series that we never thought we would see again or it would continue. But not only did they give us what we wanted, but so far through 2 episodes, they've done a lot of right. And you know how passionate these comic book fans can get, especially these diehards. I haven't seen one complaint on social media, on any of the chats about the show overall. Maybe they had their nitpicks here and there. That I saw a stupid one about Gambit, which I might address later. But to your point, showcasing superpowers in a way we've never seen these characters have before. Whether it's Cyclops doing a superhero landing, Gambit jumping on Wolverine, and his claws all of a sudden being not only adamantium, but coated with some kinetic energy. I mean, some really impressive stuff. And Nashville,
I gotta put a shout out to Storm before we forget, though.
the
When the
Omega level.
Yep, that's what I was
threat.
gonna say when the Sentinels say Omega level threat detected, and it's like, oh,
Put
yeah,
some
because
respect on her name. And
it makes sense. Like she could probably destroy the Earth if she wanted to.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So
totally, dude. She can make life miserable for a lot
like
of
we're
people.
lucky Storm's not a villain. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know how Thor's the god of thunder and, lightning and all that. Like, she has all that and more. Like,
Hmm.
really powerful. And it's really tragic what they did with her character at the end.
I hope it
I
doesn't
know we're
last
kind of
long.
jumping everywhere. It is what it is, but man, how heartbreaking was it to like see her go down that path and then like, you essentially lose your identity, right? Not just your powers,
Hmm.
your identity. Like who are you now? To the point where she just up and left and like had to go on this journey of self rediscovery, you
Yeah,
know.
all right. It depends how the rest of the series handles it. If they like just sideline her for the rest of the season, and I know they already like they're working on season 2 already, but if they just sideline her for the rest of the season, I'm gonna look back at that and say that's one of my negatives of the show.
Hmm.
Because to me it's kind of lazy because let's say now any threats that come up, oh, how ironic is it that your most powerful characters, I mean, it's arguable who the most powerful characters, right? Maybe Jean Grey, but your most powerful character arguably is not there to,
Hmm.
to deal with it. So we'll see, but I hope it doesn't last long.
Yeah, I have to imagine they'll find a way. I mean, but then again, this show opens, this series opens with the death of Professor Xavier. Him being assassinated, which is sad in the context of the animated series. But man, what is it with this franchise killing off Professor X? I mean, poor. If it's not the animated, it's Patrick Stewart dying on screen a number of
Well,
times.
the thing is, that was in the last episode of the animated series.
Really?
Yeah. So that wasn't just like the start of this series. So it's been a while, but I think from the trailers they showed it in the last episode of the animated series. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably missing some information, but he does die. But what is that alien race that the X-Men interact with frequently, and then like the Queen, like Lalandra or somebody, I think they
Hmm.
take him, and so they might. It's possible that he's either still alive or they were able to bring him back to life. Yeah, the Shi'ar Empire. So yeah, so I believe they take him at the end, and he did die, but they take him, so it was always left open. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so this is a continuation of the series. So he died at the end of the last season.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but shit. Good stuff, man. I I stand corrected. So where does that leave the X-Men? Well, naturally, Scott Summers, one of his two oldest students, decides Xavier's oldest students has to step up, right? And this first episode really highlights the pressure that he has of being a leader and not letting them down. And then you throw in another factor that Jean Grey is pregnant with. It's revealed in the second episode. Obviously, if you know, Nathan Summers, aka Cable. That's pretty damn exciting to see that. But, he's dealing with all this pressure and, still trying to be a leader and still dealing with, whether it's Wolverine's attitude or Gambit's recklessness. Um, he's trying to keep the band together, but pretty soon he's going to have his own band to deal with, his wife and kid. Um, I really like the layers that they put on Cyclops, and you could say the same for nearly everybody in these first 2 episodes. Like, they all have layers. Like, I thought it was interesting that Rogue is, kinda conflicted in this love triangle between Gambit and Magneto, which was that a thing in the original animated
I
series? I
don't
don't.
know about that, but um, so I'm sure most people who are fans of X-Men and stuff know, but Magneto, he's able to create like a force field around his body or something because of his powers, he's able to create like a microscopic force field around his body so
Yeah.
that he can touch Rogue. Like he's one of probably only few people who can touch Rogue without people or mutants who can touch Rogue without being affected by her powers. Yeah, exactly.
Booze. John Booze in the chat, and
Yeah.
it's in the comics, instead of feel and let them
So
touch.
they have
Yeah.
it's from the comics. There's a few comic lines where they have a romance, including Age of Apocalypse. So that's there. But obviously, I feel so bad for Gambit. He was crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he can't touch her. So it's interesting.
I thought Gambit could.
Can he? Maybe he can. I don't
Well, no,
know.
I don't know that for a fact, and I'm sure,
Because I mean, remember when they're in the club and then he touches her with the glove on. So,
yeah, and
but I
they're
wouldn't be
holding
surprised if
hands.
Gambit could use his energy thing too. But who knows?
Yeah. But I thought that
No,
was
I think
interesting.
because I don't think. I mean, who knows? But like, I think if Rogue could be with Gambit, she wouldn't have went to Magneto. But I think Magneto is the only person she can be with. So like, that's I don't blame her.
Yeah, and, that's tough, that's like, finally, you have intimacy. You're able to
Hmm.
have intimacy with somebody, and it may not be your first option, but we as humans, we thrive on the human connection. No matter how much we don't wanna admit it, we do, even if it's
Yeah,
something like this,
humans or
kind of
mutants.
interacting virtually. Um, and you just have to think for Rogue, it's like that's something that is really hard to give up, or to resist as she does in the episode. I'm curious to see how that will play out as we get further along. Um, and then you have, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. God.
Yeah, there's a lot
Okay.
going on in the
Yeah,
show.
there's a lot going on.
And that's I appreciate how deep it is, like just on a more like, like we talked about the mutant rights and all that, but then also just the character interaction and the drama going on between the characters.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've they said it in the show, out of respect to Xavier, the United Nations is working with the X-Men and,
mhm,
trying to make that work. But as we see in the next episode, which is probably, if I had to choose, I think episode 2 is the best, only because of Magneto's story arc throughout that
mhm.
whole episode.
Because he's not
It
really in the first one until
Yeah,
the
toward
end.
the
Yeah.
end, he drops a bombshell, like, Xavier's last will is, pretty much everything is his, right? His beloved friend. And seeing what Magneto goes through in that second episode, he's not accepted by the team, but regardless, he's trying his hardest for his fallen friend to pick up where Xavier left off. And one of the first things he does is, submit himself to the government when they arrive, and, say, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. Reminds me of Man of Steel and Superman, getting arrested by the government. It's like, I'll give you a chance to, see that I've really, made a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, everything just goes off the rails. I mean, you have these, human terrorists, I'm going to call them, try to infiltrate the government building during the trial and, go and take down Magneto, who, by the way, was making some really good points when he
Mm-hmm.
was, calling out the humans. Like, you think it's just justice for humans? How about justice for mutants and all the torture and all the, damage you've done and all the mutants who have suffered and died? And he was really giving it to the government. And I really loved that whole entire arc. I mean, it was Magneto might be the MVP through the first 2 episodes, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's Cyclops because he's in both, and like he has such a prominent role in the first episode, obviously taking over the team and all that. But
And he's your
what
boy.
he, yeah, but what he has to go through um, once Magneto does step in, and yeah, but I can't deny the impact that Magneto has, especially in the second episode. And like
Yeah.
that character, I think he calls himself the Executioner, the
Yeah, the
the one,
executioner, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, like he like took Cyclops out. And I know hand to hand combat isn't necessarily Scott's, expertise. He's good at it, but obviously he uses combination of his, his blast and hand to hand combat. But yeah, that dude effed him up.
Well, he
So
also
that
had
was
some weapons on him
oh,
too that,
obviously he had, yeah, for
he was
sure.
packing a
So
punch.
no, definitely. But I mean, it's fair because mutants
Yeah.
have powers, so
Mhm.
fair fight. But yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. I mean, some could argue Storm was the MVP.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the show is that rich and layered, honestly, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. Next episode releases March 27th, titled Fire Made Flesh. So that'll be interesting. Any final thoughts on X-Men 97?
No, just that when it ended, I could not wait for the next episode. The the only shows that I felt that with in recent memory are House of the Dragon, um, and yeah, shows like that. I mean, there's a couple other recent ones, but that's crazy that I'm that stoked for a animated show.
Yeah, I mean, this is by far the probably the best thing I've enjoyed that Marvel's produced in some time. And you could say maybe it's nostalgia, but it's also just how well written it is. And yeah, to John's point right here, it was, and to you, Jacob, as well, it was left on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Jean shows up. Um, okay, that's gonna be interesting. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
so Booze is hinting that the title of the episode is saying that the Phoenix made another Jean Grey, possibly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Probably something in the comics that ties to that, but I wouldn't know. We'll see. I took it as like a younger Jean Grey coming from the past.
yeah.
Uh, but I would have no idea because like a lot of times in the comics, there's like a young Cyclops, like a teenage Cyclops
Hmm.
in the modern day. That's so there's a lot of that going on. So I thought it was maybe just a younger Jean Grey who time traveled, but we'll see.
All right. Well, stay tuned, and I'm sure we'll talk about the next episode and the next stream that we do next week. So let's go to one of two trailers that we're going to talk about, and that's Alien Romulus. That's right. Another Alien movie. It's the seventh installment in the Alien franchise, directed by Fede Alvarez, who did Don't Breathe, which I really enjoyed. And the movie, according to director Fede Alvarez, is set between the events of 1979's Alien and 1986's Aliens. So
Nice. I didn't know that.
apparently, this young group of space colonizers, they come across a derelict space station. Maybe could be one where the alien infected another one or whatnot, but they come to face with the alien, and looks like it's going back to its roots. Close quarters, dark spaces, very confined. Um, it was just a teaser trailer, but man, that one, like, okay, it's been a minute since this franchise has piqued my interest, but this one right here, just based off a teaser trailer, damn. I mean, the suspense, the music, we even saw a shot of the OG gun. Um, what do you think of Alien Romulus? The teaser trailer. Is it enough to get you excited again, or how have you felt about this franchise?
Yeah, so I mean the trailer looks really good. It looks great, honestly. And if even if I never watched a trailer, um, just knowing that Fede Alvarez is directing it, I'm like, that's perfect. Because just looking at Don't Breathe and it I don't know how to necessarily explain it, but for some reason it has similarities to I could feel that same vibe
Yeah.
being as those characters being trapped in that house with that character. It's like being trapped in a ship in space with an alien or
Hmm.
aliens. It's that same horror vibe that I kind of felt that in the trailer. And I actually uh, I rewatched Alien. I think 3 or 4 years ago, uh, and it was so good. The first one. Uh, I mean, obviously, Aliens is amazing too, but I purposely rewatched the first one and so good. And this really felt like the first one. I know that's what everybody's been saying, but it really got back to that original, like terrifying, just eerie feeling of like, oof, like when you're watching the trailer, you just feel trapped on that on that ship with them, and that's how the movie's probably going to feel. I'm so glad because I mean I know lately movie studios are trying to gear more cinematic projects towards the big screen. I'm so glad this is not a direct to streaming movie. Just
Hmm.
how Prey was, I would have loved to watch Prey
On the big
um,
screen, right?
on the big screen. And obviously that was more closer to the pandemic. So maybe I think if they released Prey today, it probably would have been a theatrical release. But I'm just so glad that this is coming out on the big screen because it's gonna be great on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm just reading some more notes here. That alarm sound on the ship is the exact same alarm sound as the 1979 original Alien trailer.
Oh,
And
that's
that
awesome.
scream at the beginning is actually the radio transmission from the first film. So, like I
Wow.
said, we just talked about it, right? Nostalgia, right? And just revisiting, taking it back, these franchises back to their roots and whatnot. Um, what if is there a chance we see anything like some archival footage from the first movie. Like maybe there was a video transmission or something that they see on a screen or something, and that could be a possibility. But I dig it, man. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think there'll be ties. The thing is, you can play with stuff from the first movie. You could play with stuff from Aliens. They could, they said it's in between both those movies, which I love that. Um, so you can have things that connect to Aliens and still, doesn't have to, but I could see Easter eggs for sure.
All right, we're sending some colonial marines here. Say, oh, Marines, what? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, man, this could be, man, dude, to see the Predator and the Alien franchise on the ascent again. If Alien's able to pull it off, man, shoot. All we just need is Terminator, right? And just get that going, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting, man. So exciting. Can't wait. Man, I can't wait to watch the teaser in a theater.
Yeah, to see it come on and see people who haven't. That's one of my favorite things about going to movies is when a trailer comes on that general audiences haven't seen yet, and then they're like,
Mhm.
"What? Like, I didn't know this was coming out." So that'll be fun to see that.
Yeah. I forget what's coming out this week. Something's coming out this week.
Ghostbusters, the
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Frozen. Is it the Frozen Empire? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The Frozen Empire.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'll see it this weekend for
Yeah.
sure. So, but not excited about it necessarily.
All right. Well, let's go to another trailer that released. The Acolyte. This one was announced some time ago. I forget if it was at D23 or Star Wars Celebration, maybe. But yeah, this is one of the projects that Star Wars fans were very curious about because it's the first live action one to be set in the High Republic area, granted at the tail end, 100 years before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, it was just a trailer. All right, obviously something's going on. Okay, Jedi are getting killed. There's this mysterious character making her rounds right there, and everywhere she ends up, there tends to be trouble. And I guess she's a former Padawan learner, so they're doing that again, right? They in Obi-Wan, it was a former Padawan who was um fifth sister or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, man. What what would you say excites you the most about this trailer? If you had to pick one.
So the thing for me is I liked the trailer. It's just a teaser. Okay, I have two minds on this. One mind is I should probably say this first because it's more prominent. Is that this show, it's called The Acolyte. We knew it was gonna focus on the Sith side, and I thought like this trailer, the show was gonna be from the perspective of whoever is turning to the dark side or has been turned to the dark side and is pursuing that, those philosophies or whatever. I thought it was going to be purely from their perspective, and then like whatever New Republic stuff, High Republic stuff is going on. It's just it's around them obviously, but they're more in the shadows, and it's from their perspective. It kind of looks like the
Mhm.
opposite, like the show's from the perspective of like this High Republic stuff going on, and then it's a mystery to figure out. I don't know. Like I'm not informed. I don't know all the details. I'm not like reading all the news articles and everything.
Yeah.
But just you know, from what I've seen, like it's not what I expected. That being said, my favorite thing about Star Wars is, Jedis, Sith, the Force, lightsabers. That's my favorite thing about Star Wars. And I mean, obviously, I'm not the only one, but um, you have your people who just love the war aspect and the like the Andor type. Like I love Andor, but I'm more for like the Jedi stuff. So that's why I love the prequels. And even though I acknowledge maybe one or two of them aren't good or great movies,
Yeah.
I still love them because there's Jedi all around. There's lightsabers everywhere. I love that environment,
Feels
and
like
we're
Star Wars.
we're getting this again. And this felt like, I know it's a different time, but this really felt like, one of my favorite scenes in the prequels is Attack of the Clones, in the arena when all the Jedi show up and
Hmm.
they start, the battle, and they're all running and all, like, I got that feeling again, and that excited me. So if I knew nothing about the Acolyte and I just never heard of it, and you're just like, new Star Wars show, surprise, they showed me this trailer, I would have been stoked. But the fact that it's not necessarily what I was anticipating, as far as like seeing it directly from, either someone who's falling to the dark side, or is falling to the dark side, or has from their perspective directly. I thought that's what it was going to be. Little disappointed that it's not that, but we'll see. But yeah, so I'm still excited about it though. Like, really happy to get some more just Jedi Force stuff.
We got quite a bit of Carrie Ann Moss in this
Yes.
trailer.
Okay, which one is Daphne Keene?
She is the main Jedi Master's Padawan, Soul, Jedi Master Soul,
Okay.
um played by Ling Jung Jae, who I believe was in what's that Netflix show? Um God, what's that show? Was he in Squid Game? That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going through the trailer right now trying to see if I could.
Yeah, like, because I watched it on my phone a couple times. Oh, okay. I see who she is. Yeah. Okay.
um
Well, she's in like, she's not human. She's like an alien character.
oh, she is?
Yeah, she's in makeup and stuff. So that's probably why I didn't recognize her. I mean, also she's a lot older than she was in Logan, and I haven't watched her in anything else since. So she looks a little different, but
Oh, okay. I think I see her. It's at the
yeah.
1 minute and 8 mark right here. Here, let me share this. Maybe you can confirm. Hang on just a moment. Is that her right there?
I can't see it that closely. That might be her, but it looks more like very like white makeup.
For those of you who are listening audio only, we are looking at the 1 minute 8 second mark of the trailer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is it green? Yeah, it's like
Yeah, green.
whitish, greenish, I guess, and she has like red on the side of her face. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't know what the Oh,
Or is
that's her
that her
right
right
there.
there?
That's
That's
her.
her right there.
Yep, there she is.
Okay, so we can still see it's Daphne Keene a little bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not like she's the reason I didn't recognize her at first is because I literally haven't seen her since Logan. Like, I didn't watch that show she was on. so I haven't seen her in
Um,
anything since Logan. But no, that's cool. I mean, I I like when there's like alien characters and alien Jedi. So that's pretty awesome to see her play that.
so I'm sure we'll get another trailer before June, probably towards like maybe a little under a month from now.
Dude,
Um,
House of the Dragon and the Acolyte both coming in June. Like
like I
I
said, man, we
mm,
eating, dude, we eating, and that's just man, it's hard to keep up. I still want to watch Shogun and the Gentleman Show on
Shogun is
Netflix.
amazing. You have to watch Shogun, man. It's must
Yeah.
watch TV. But I want to watch The Gentleman also. I heard good things.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean House of the Dragon though. Did you watch season 1?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it's I don't know. I think it's better than Game of Thrones,
Yeah. Well,
honestly.
it's tough because that season 8 is just that last season
Well, it
is just
depends.
really
You take the
sticks out.
best season of Game of Thrones, then the House of Dragon season 1, okay, maybe not, but I'll say I like House of Dragon season 1 more than Game of Thrones season 1. I think that's fair.
Okay. That's fair. Um, did you watch the trailer for the Black Panther Captain America game?
I did, yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Looks really cool. It's really hard for me to see anyone other than Chris Evans as Captain America.
Mhm.
The Captain America reminded me more of what's his name from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Your favorite
What's
character in MCU.
John Walker?
Yeah. At first I was like, is that John Walker? I was like, what? But no, it looks
They're combing the
amazing.
streets,
I'm
searching
learning.
house to house.
I don't have time for video games as much as
If they arrest you
thought I
too,
did. I
they
still
will take
enjoy
you to
them.
their headquarters, and you will not return.
But yeah.
I mean,
I'm
the
more
graphics
concerned with the
look
6-foot
incredible.
Cap man.
You know,
He's got claws that can cut through vibranium
I would like to
alloy.
see Cap a little more beefed up. Just my opinion, but I know Marvel was developing a Black Panther game set in Wakanda.
On my count,
and
that
so
makes
this could
2
be a
super
taste
soldiers
of
loose in Paris.
things to come
Great.
right here.
Counting you. And
that's
that's
set
too
in
many.
1943, so definitely in Cap's era right there. I don't think it's T'Challa. It's not T'Challa.
No,
It
it's
has to be
T'Chaka.
Before the
T'Chaka,
Germans,
right?
before that American.
Or I'm
The
guessing
Iron Force has been
Yeah.
it's definitely not T'Challa.
Or maybe the grandfather,
Please,
T'Chaka's
Just stick to
father.
the
You know.
rooftops.
Because I was
But
gonna
either
say,
way,
wouldn't T'Chaka be really young too?
yeah,
When am I know?
yeah, I would say so. So it has to be T'Challa's grandfather.
It's better if
right
I tackle
there.
this
And
one
they're,
alone.
You may
taking on
encounter some obstacles.
German soldiers.
But you know the
Nazis.
audio's playing in the trailer, right?
It is
Catherine is
Yeah,
definitely here
it's playing
too.
this whole time.
By the look of things,
really.
Why I kind
I
of
haven't.
stopped.
I didn't
talking.
hear it. Oh shoot.
There we go. That's
Sorry.
what we needed, Brian. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
T'Challa's.
Because I was gonna
grandfather
say
right there.
even T'Chaka would be, yeah, he would, yeah, he would not age that well. Like,
This is awesome, man. All
that's-
right, I need
'cause
you.
There's always a Black Panther, like if I'm not mistaken, for like centuries, right? So
Mm-hmm.
any era you go to, there's a Black Panther.
Passed down from warrior to warrior. Civil War was just on the other day, and I was watching it in my hotel room, and yeah, just look at that right there, man. That's
No,
dope
I
right
love
there.
seeing, Cap and Black Panther fight. It's just so cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about in Infinity War when they were, running into battle together, right? And they dusted everybody, and just like we're working hand in hand. That's just man, I wanted to see more of that. It's just oh man, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, and
Yeah.
yeah, but that's not to say maybe late somewhere down the road, the new Captain America and T'Challa Jr., T'Challa the second. So that was pretty cool. Did you get to see the Beetlejuice trailer?
I actually, funny enough, I saw it on accident because I was watching a different video.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was going
Was
to
it
watch.
an ad that popped up?
Yeah, and I
before?
was like,
Okay.
what is this? And I saw Jenna Ortega, and I was like, wait, is this a new movie? And I was like, what is this? And they said coming from Tim Burton, and I was like, oh, this must be Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
So
It wasn't much. It was just more like an
yeah,
announcement.
it's a teaser.
Yeah. And again, nostalgia,
Yeah.
right?
I love Michael Keaton, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll work today for a whole movie, but we'll see.
Yeah, it depends on how they play it,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good trailer, how they incorporated the music from the first movie. And I mean, Michael Keaton, I mean, like if you didn't see that bit he did in the Oscars where he was Bruce Wayne in the audience, like that guy is just he's still got it. He's still living his best life. Okay, I know the Flash movie, wasn't the best and all that, but
I still love him in it. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
every moment he's on screen in that movie.
Yeah. So, wow, man. I think that's gonna do it, man. We got through quite a bit, man. Yeah, maybe we
Yeah.
should just keep it you and I. Sorry, Keith. No, I know Keith's busy and should have him back next week, and Jacob here will probably be out. So they switch. They
I
tag
know,
each other in.
alternate weeks. Yeah.
But this was fun, man. This was
Definitely,
fun.
man.
Thanks for joining us tonight in the conversation. Everyone in the chat. I saw Brian. I saw Jake. I saw Star Drew, and of course John Booze. Rachel, we love you if you're watching this on playback. Jacob Bartley, you can find him on Twitter or X. Jacob Bartley 824. Find me on Twitter at Insider Geo. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active there as well. And yeah, we'll be back next week talking X-Men 97 episode 3 and whatever else breaks on the internet. So that's gonna do it. We still don't have an outro, but Jake's working on it. And until then, you guys take care.